Magazine! Hey everyone, and we are picking up our Xenoblade Chronicles 2 walkthrough here in the ancient ship. Now we've skipped ahead a little bit because mostly all you're doing is kind of fighting through grunts and coming down the stairs. Now we're already down the stairs and we're going to show you the real meat of this section in the ancient ship. Now we've already found a cylinder which is relatively easy to pick up, and we're just going to drop it into the right kind of place to be able to activate the next portal to get in, which will take you through that door. So you just need to head back and drop in the ether fuel chamber, and you can then open the door. So that activates the control panel, which is just behind you, and then you can access the central control panel to open that door, which you can walk straight up to, and that queues up kind of a big boss battle. So we're going to head in and take that on now. So the first thing you need to do as soon as you kind of get into this battle is move to the left, because it runs in and does a huge amount of damage. So get out of the way of that really quickly to stop getting that damage, and you can see Rex is taking quite a few hits. But if you can kind of maneuver yourself into the side back area of the Megalo Aligo, or whatever the hell it's called, you should be able to get in hits relatively easily and only take marginal damage yourself. Make sure you kind of hit it with the hook shot as often as you can to pick up your health potions, which will give you a bit more HP as you go. And whenever it flips over like that, you should be able to get in hits relatively easily. Now, it's not an easy boss to try and take out, especially when it gets into this rage state. So whenever it gets into this rage state, when it's got just under half of its HP left, it's going to start inflicting more damage. The tutorial's kind of walking you through that now. But you shouldn't have too many problems with it because you've got a really strong team on your side with Malos and Nia both fighting in your corner. So you should be able to let them do a lot of the hard work while you kind of pick up as many hits as you can and whip out the hook shot to be able to get the potion as often as possible, so you can finish it off without taking too much damage. And you can see both Malos and Nia inflicting some serious hits on it to be able to finish him, which cues up a huge cinematic that sees you becoming bonded with Pyra as a blade and being killed by Jin, and all sorts of things that you will have seen in the trailer for the game before you find yourself here with Pyra facing off against Malos. And while you might find yourself lucky and making it through this battle by simply following along with the tutorial and finishing Malos off at the end, if you don't, like us, then we are going to show you how to take out Malos, because he's actually quite difficult after you've got through the main tutorial bit. Because if you die once, you will then have to face him right the way from the beginning without the aid of the tutorial help, and he will inflict some serious damage on you, and he's got a huge health bar to drain down. So at the moment, the tutorial is essentially talking you through the affinity process, which means you've got to stick close to your blade, which is Pyra, and when that connection, that blue connection there, glows golden, it means you're at your most powerful in terms of your affinity, which will help your art power up a lot quicker. So we're going to sort of try and finish off Malos and beat him by going up against him, keeping close to Pyra, and also getting in as many hits. Now at this stage we're kind of trying to work around him and kind of move around Malos to be able to beat him, but the reality is you're probably better off just going toe to toe, keeping Pyra as close as possible and hitting up the arts as quickly as they come. So we're just trying to get in those hits, and you can see at this stage we're doing a lot of moving around. But honestly, it's just not the best thing to do, and you will see that we eventually get our asses handed to us by Malos by losing in our first battle against him. But now the tutorial's talking you through one of the most important moves in the game, and that is the special moves, which you can see with the arrow pointing above it and the little number Roman numeral 1 in the center of it, and that means your special gauge has charged up, and it can charge up to 3 levels, which we'll see that turn to Roman numerals 2 and then Roman numerals 3, and that's the most powerful hit that you can do. Now if you kind of don't need to go to 3 to finish a guy off, then you can use number 1 or number 2, but sometimes it's better just to wait it out, especially if you can hit up the moves. So it's simply a case of pressing A to start off the special move, and then you'll need to execute a button challenge to be able to get it as powerful as you can, which we're going to demonstrate doing really badly in this go, but we do get better at it later on. So essentially a button command will come up on the screen when you execute it, and you will need to press whatever button in the right kind of order. Now we do all right there. It kind of hits a big amount of impact on Malos, but it could have definitely been better. However, you can salvage it a little bit if you can get into these blade combos, which it's talking you through here, and it's pointing out a little gauge with heat which shows that kind of counting down. Now the possible routes to be able to use the special combo are on the right hand side, and if you can hit the enemy with a higher stage special before the gauge runs out, then you'll inflict way more damage than a regular special. However, if you manage to get it wrong, which we do monumentally, then you will have an uphill struggle to be able to make it past Malos, and we've kind of been able to work around that. So we're going to show you how we do that next. But you can see here that we managed to miss the button challenge and didn't inflict all that damage, so we still had a long way to go on Malos, and he managed to finish us off in our naivety. So we're back in for a second time against Malos, and here it's talking us through Pyra's special attacks. So the special effects are essentially automated moves that your blade will throw out every now and again to assist you, and they can come in handy when you're facing somebody like Malos. So you can see here we're essentially just going toe to toe with Malos and getting in as many hits as possible, while also keeping Pyra quite close to us. But you can see we still didn't manage to finish him off in our second go against him, and this is our third attempt at beating him. And hey, third time lucky, hey? And essentially we are not even moving 1 inch. We're literally facing off against him and throwing out the anchor shot and the sword bash and the double spinning edge as often as we can. Now you can see the anchor shot has thrown out some HP potion there, and realistically we should have picked it up, and that's something that we start doing from now on. But we're slowly chipping away at Malos, and you can see we're around about 25% of his energy through, and you can also see that our special has powered up to one of its power up capabilities, but we're kind of leaving that. We're saving that for a little bit later, and we're continuing to use the sword bash, the anchor shot and the double spinning edge whenever we get an opportunity, and picking up the HP potions whenever they fall to the ground. So there you can see we managed to get in another anchor shot there and picked up the HP potion straight away, which keeps Rex in the game for a hell of a lot longer. Now you can see we don't move a great deal as we're taking on Malos, and he is inflicting damage, but we are inflicting way more, especially with our potions, which we got 2 of in that particular go. So there's a certain percentage that you'll get 2 potions with every one, and you can improve that with your skill tree a little bit later on. But for now, it's just a case of picking them up when they can. Now we finally used our special, which was up to rank 3, so that delivered a huge amount of impact and took off a lot of Malos's HP. Now we're trying to push for the special combo, but we don't quite manage to pick it up. However, as a process, because we just essentially tried to take him out as quickly as possible and use the arts as quickly as possible, which subsequently powers up the special, we do manage to inflict a lot of damage on Malos. And you can see here he's getting close to being within around about 25% of his HP left. The bad news though is Rex is also on his bones, and he's down to around about, I don't know, 15% of his HP left. So we really need to pick up those potions every time they land and make sure hopefully we get a double potion in the next kind of go or 2. Now as we're taking out his damage, we're also being damaged as well, but we've got an anchor shot now, which gives us a potion which will give us a little bit more HP to be able to keep on attacking Malos. And it's this kind of continuous dogged, grueling activity that allows us to finish him off in the end. So keep an eye on when you can use any kind of attack like this special, and if you can plan it out right, and if you can hit it right, then you can deal serious damage and finish him off. Which cues up another lengthy, beautiful cinematic where you kind of manage to escape thanks to Gramps, who comes swooping in and takes you off to a brand new Titan area, which we will be picking up in the next of our walkthrough videos. But before we kind of leave you, it's just kind of taking you through a few things, which is weapons points. You can think of these as a measure of the level of skill that Rex has, and you can pick them up as the game goes. You can access these from the menu, and it's well worth taking the time to be able to enhance your art, which will help you to deal way more powerful hits. You can also enhance your skill points, so these represent how well Rex is trained in battle techniques, and they're used to unlock passive skills. So you'll be able to do this again from the main menu, characters, character setup, and affinity chart. It will then give you a bit of a tutorial about some of the stats within the game. So essentially it's going to tell you about HP, strength, ether, dexterity, agility, and luck. And all of these are going to be useful throughout the game. And while it's a little bit complex to begin with, by the time you get into it, you will understand each of them pretty well. So HP is the driver's health, and they will fall if it drops to 0. Strength affects damage from physical arts, and ether affects damage healing from ether arts. And they're relatively easy to understand, but it continues with the dexterity, which affects attack accuracy, agility, which affects chance to evade enemy attacks, and luck, which makes it easier to resist enemy debuffs and reactions. And that's it, guys. That's the end of our second walkthrough for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, taking on the ancient ship. So we will pick things back up here in the Forgotten Wastes in our next walkthrough. Make sure you subscribe to our channel for more gaming videos, and hit that like button, leave any comments you got below, and share with the world. Thanks, guys. Goodbye. Magazine!